Hi everyone, I'm sorry for the delay. I know I said that I was going to do Arrow's recent episode, which I believe is titled Asain. And I told you I was going to do that, and the previous two episodes, The Fallen and Broken Arrow, and have at least it recorded and posted on Friday. But the thing was, on Thursday, like I said, I believe I said in the previous video that I was going to watch The Avengers on Thursday, which is like a day before it actually comes out, which is on Friday. And then on Friday, I had a lot of errands to do at the same time. My cousin got confirmed at our church on Friday, so I couldn't really. By the time he came home, it was really late, and I was just exhausted. But as you can see, I'm wearing my Marvel hat too, in honor of Age of Ultron. And if you hear all the background noise, I'm sorry, I'm currently not home at the moment. I am at my aunt's house with a whole horde of my family because, of course, as you guys well know, the Manny Pacquiao fight with Mayweather, Pacquiao versus Mayweather, is on tonight, and they're all in the other room. They're all in the family room watching it, the family room in the garage watching it. I'm here in the living room where I'm alone, mostly. But anyway, I might do this part by part because with the past 3 episodes of Arrow, which was we are season 3 right now, and the past 3 episodes, which is season 3 episode 19, episode 20, and the current one 21, which is Broken Arrow, The Fallen, and Al Saim, respectively. It's a lot of information to take to the point where sorry, it's so distracting over there. But it's a lot of information to take, mainly because I did not want to miss any minor details, and it's been a while since I watched episodes 19 and 20, Broken Arrow and The Fallen, and I didn't want to miss any details, so I had to not only re-watch all 3 episodes, including Al-Saim, but I took notes of it just in case I missed anything. I mainly wanted to do the main points of it, and so this episode in particular will be mainly on season 3 episode 19 of Arrow, which would be titled Broken Arrow. And a lot of stuff happened in Broken Arrow that I really didn't want to miss, mainly because and also, sorry, yeah, can you hear that? Yep, yeah, you hear that, right? And keep this in mind, I'm Filipino. Manny Pacquiao fight. I'm gonna let it sink in a little bit. Just wait. Yeah. This is what I'm dealing with right now. So bear with me if you cannot hear me. And if again, Pacquiao versus Mayweather is on right now, and my family were Filipinos. You stick a bunch of Filipinos in a room watching Manny Pacquiao fight in the fight of the century, it's gonna get loud. So let's jump into it for Broken Arrow. And if, again, like in my previous video, spoiler alert, because I'm not sure if there's anyone who hasn't already seen season 3 episode 19 Broken Arrow, but if you still haven't, then my bad, this is a spoiler alert for you guys. So anyway, Broken Arrow. Let's start off from what just happened in episode 18 at the end, where Captain Lance is taking Oliver away in the police truck thing. He's arrested and all that stuff, and all of a sudden you hear someone on the rooftop of the police truck. I don't know what to call it. I'm just gonna call it police truck. And Captain Lance is pretty much telling Oliver, what's going on, what did you do? And it's like, I told my team to stand down. And all of a sudden, truck opens up, they all stop, cops are surrounding the truck, Lance opens the truck, and then all of a sudden you see someone dressed in the Arrow costume come down saying, Oliver Queen is not the Arrow, I am. And the hood goes off, and it's Roy. And when I saw that, I was like, Roy, what are you doing? I understand that. I am sorry again. I I really wanted to do this in a very quiet area, especially not during this event because, but I might not have an actual chance to actually do this, especially alone. And this is alone as I will get right now. Because I don't even think I'd be able to do this if I managed to get home because it'd be too late. And this is already delayed, so back to it. I was questioning Roy's choice. I understand that, he's Team Arrow. He's trying to protect Oliver, and to him, he owes Oliver a lot. And he even says it in this episode that, you saved me, Oliver. Now that he wants to save him now. So basically what happens, Roy says that he's the Arrow, and he gets arrested, saying, "I'm Arrow, arrest me." And this episode's also cool. Broken Arrow is also awesome, mainly because for the first time in all 3 seasons of Arrow, the enemy that they are dealing with is a metahuman. And as you well know, you see mainly metahumans on CW, Arrow's sequel show, which is The Flash. And so the fact that you get to see a metahuman actually appear on Arrow after 3 seasons, and not only has it been like 3 seasons since the first time ever a metahuman appears, this is pretty much close to the end of season 3. So they almost went through 3 whole seasons without a metahuman. So this is the first ever, which is pretty cool. And if I remember the correct, I wrote it down. I'm gonna probably look at the screen. But the name of the metahuman, his name is Jake Simmons. Correct me again if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong all the time. But I saw his powers, and it's kind of like, for all those Marvel fans out there, his powers kind of remind you of Marvel's X-Men's own Cyclops. And you probably see him somewhere in my hat. I don't know. I'm wearing my Marvel hat, so I don't know if Cyclops is on there somewhere. But his powers kind of remind you of Cyclops because of the eyes thing. He wears shades to cover his glowing eyes, and he shoots pretty much laser beams out of his eyes, which totally reminded me of Cyclops. I started laughing so hard. It's like, oh my god, it's a rip-off of him. But anyway, not only does that happen, Roy, who is in jail, it's crazy because a lot of people, the inmates, believe him to be Arrow, and they're like, let's see if we can fight the Arrow, right? And so Roy literally has to fight off attacks from fellow inmates in jail, while all the rest of the team, Arrow, have to try to fight off this first metahuman in their city. And this is the funny part. I thought it was funny because I made a little prediction. I was like, first metahuman in Starling City. I bet you this metahuman came from Central City. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Starling City where I can't get caught. So later on in the episode, you actually did find out you find out his name, and then you find out he was a resident of Central City. Go figure. But also, because Roy got arrested, posed as Arrow, the DA doesn't charge Oliver with any crime. As you remember, Laurel pretty much fought off word battle with her own father to get Oliver not charged with anything, which was like, go Laurel, I have respect for you for that right now. And she's like, she totally burned her dad in that conversation. I love that. But another thing that pissed me off was Lance. He's going way too far. I know he's grieving over Sarah, but this is just way too much. Because Captain Lance ends up getting a search warrant for Thea's nightclub Verdant, and ends up uncovering what Felicity calls the Arrow Cave. And, the cops everywhere in the Arrow Cave, they sweep the place, fingerprints. And the funny part is, though, the only fingerprints they find in the Arrow Cave are all Roy's. And Oliver finds out that after Roy, posing as Arrow, gets arrested, they pretty much wipe out all the fingerprints, everything, to the point where the only fingerprints you'll ever find is Roy's. So yeah, and that pretty much pisses off Lance in a whole new perspective. He's like, are you serious right now? I just caught him. I need more evidence. Hi, Auntie! I'm doing my YouTube channel. I love how you're staring. Awkward moment part 2. But anyway, going back to the first metahuman, Jake Simmons, because it's a metahuman, Oliver was hoping maybe he could get in contact with Barry Allen, aka The Flash, but Felicity's like, he's dealing with other stuff, aka the Reverse Flash, so he can't really help out. So with the convincing of Felicity, Oliver asks Roy, aka the Atom, to help out with the metahuman. But after the first attempt, Ray gets did I say Roy earlier? Ray gets pretty much defeated the first time because, and in the words of Oliver, he depended too much on his armor and his tech instead of depending on himself, which is kind of true. Because I'm sorry, I thought someone else was there, but like, which is very much true. You can't always depend on what you have. Like, Oliver made a valid point because Oliver's like, I have my bow and arrows, but at the end of the day, I am the weapon. I have to depend on myself. I can't always depend on what I have with me, and that's pretty much why Ray failed the first time fighting Jake Simmons, mainly because he depended on his armor and his tech, and not his own instincts. And so yeah, he failed the first attempt, but in the second attempt, if I remember correctly, there was like a neural networking between Ollie and Ray, and they were like totally in sync with that. But unfortunately, the neural network, it malfunctioned during the second match, but still, Ray managed to defeat Jake Simmons on his own, even when the neural network malfunctioned, which was pretty badass. Excuse my language. And it's just, I can't even begin to question things. And then the flashback thing I'll probably talk at the end. I was gonna talk about the flashback at the end, but then I'm gonna talk about it now and then go to the end of the episode where the flashback when Oliver finds out that Amanda Waller was pretty much he thought, and so did the Yamashiros, they thought that Amanda Waller was the one sending out people to capture them, right? But then he finds out that Waller was pretty much kidnapped. I think. But he pretty much finds out that Waller was kidnapped by the people who actually were the ones that sent all the men to capture him and the Yamashiros. And they find out it was General Shreve. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I could spell it Shrieve. Shreve. I don't know, but the general was the one that sent those soldiers to shoot Oliver and the Yamashiros and actually kidnapped Waller too. So that was pretty crazy. Also, they found out that the same general who's sending men after Oliver and the Yamashiros are planning to release the Alpha and Omega virus on Hong Kong. And it's like, oh, that's bad. And then also in the flashback, Oliver, Tatsu, and Masaya, aka the Yamashiros, they actually managed to steal the vaccine, and they stole General Shrive's plans to infect Hong Kong, which was like totally awesome. And then going back after the flashback, Roy